But hey, took a nap, fell asleep, and it worked out. So excited to be here with you guys. Was a good overall day for me as well. So pretty happy. Curious to hear how you guys were. Let's go to you first, Kurt. You were sweating out the Giants or something, which I don't know what you were sweating out with the Giants. I mean, Richie James got carted off the field. I don't know who on earth you were sweating, but how was the sweat with the Giants and how was the day overall?
Just sweating Tanner Hudson. I needed some of them late points. So we got him. We got him home. So now we're ready to go, ready to roll it into Sunday Night Football. Maybe some more tight end action.
All right. Yeah, of course. It's Sunday Night Showdown. Of course, we have to talk about tight ends. They're always a staple when it comes to the showdown slate. Let's go over to you next, Rubio. How was your day? No Bengals in the slate for you. Jamar Chase went down too. So obviously, I don't know. It sounds like he's going to be okay and he's going to fight through it or something. But curious how your DFS day went. NBA, I think there was some overlay today too. Did you jump in the NBA streets as well as the showdown tonight?
I mean, I've played a lot of slates today. I didn't cash soccer. I didn't cash NASCAR. I cashed NFL. I cashed F1. And then I got the NBA showdown, the NFL showdown to kind of see if I'll break even or see if I'll win. The best part about NFL is that, I won on the slate, main slate, everything like that. And then my Rainmakers teams were looking good. But you know what? I lost. But guess what? How much I lost today? 0. You don't lose anything when entering Rainmakers contest, Mangone. God, it's pretty nice. I think it's going to happen here in the next few weeks. You're going to see me celebrating a 10K win on Rainmakers, and you're going to have to sit here and just watch me celebrate, Mangone. How was your day?
I'm going to watch you make it rain. I fell asleep. It was great. It was awesome. And the DFS day was good. So I can't complain. No complaints here on that one. Let's go over to you, Megan. I was watching with my one roommate and I basically said to him, when Taylor Heineke got the QB sneak, I said, man, if you're like a football fan, like you love this guy. Like, you're like, all he does is win. Like he's the greatest. Like and like us gambling people don't care much. Right. But it was funny.
Well, I do when I play him. So, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, did you play him on the afternoon slate? Because I did.
Yes.
I actually opened up the afternoon slate and I was like, let's see if I want to play it. And I looked at the quarterbacks and I was like, this is tough. And I just wanted to just experiment. I was like, okay, let me jam in Henry, let me jam in Cup, let me jam in Kittle. Like I was just jamming in everyone. I was like, this looks painful. I'm not doing this. And I closed the laptop. I was like, no, I'm just going to sleep. And I just took a nap instead. So, but Taylor Heineke, so he was the guy that got you a nice little sweat, it sounds like. So tell people a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. No, first of all, he's so fun to watch, and it was fun to get when I was finishing getting ready for the show. So I didn't actually see it, but I saw it on my phone. And yeah, I kind of went with that idea, Mangone. All the 4:00 quarterbacks were kind of gross, right? So if we're going to play a bad quarterback, I'm going to go ahead and play Heineke, who I know is, can run it in for a touchdown. He did at the end. And I knew he would be probably one of the lowest owned. So then I jammed Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Cup. Thing is, you didn't want to jam Cup. You wanted Henry and you wanted CMC. You didn't want Cup because you wanted some of those Seattle receivers. So I was so close, 10 or 11 points from first place in the $33 contest. One of 500 though. So that was really fun and had a very profitable day overall because I was on Tua. And so that was, good. So it was a profitable day and just so close to some big wins. So maybe I can get it home tonight.
Yep, definitely got to get it home. We got Big T in the chat. We got Locks in the chat. Uncle T is here for the Locks winners. Who knows? Maybe Locks will pop on. It's always the same link, Locks. If you want to pop in there, Big T might sneak in here at some point. Wouldn't be surprised. Apone is asking if I have a neck tattoo. I do not. It's fake. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did a whole thing for Halloween. It was on the Saturday show. If you watch college football with us, that was a good time. I had a fun college football sweat on Saturday. So overall, been a fun weekend, but we're here to bring some winners. We're here to talk about the Bills and talk about my Green Bay Packers. Maybe I should hang up the Brett Favre picture right now with the Packers playing tonight. I'm curious to hear what you guys have your takes on this game, because as a Packers fan, I would like them to lose and then just trade Aaron Rodgers, get a ton of picks, and just move on and watch Jordan Love be horrible for the year. But we got a game to obviously sweat and try and win a lot of money up top. I believe it's $300,000 up top the first over on DraftKings. Let's go first to our guy, Rubio Dimes, the guy who does all the playbooks for us. He's got the plays. He's got the fades for us. Kick it off talking about these captains, Rubio, and how you're tackling this slate.
I mean, obviously, with it being a Bills slate, I mean, the main captain that everyone's going to click on, his name is Josh Allen. I mean, how can you not play him in the captain spot? He gets it done with his legs. He gets it done with his arm. He gets it done with his mind. I mean, the dude's a legend. He's the best quarterback in football. And like, it's tough to even fade him at captain, because just the fact of the matter is when he steps on the football field, he's got 40-point upside. I can kind of see the case being made for Diggs just because Diggs has been so dominant all year. He's been able to create space and just catching bombs from Josh Allen. But if you're trying to be a little bit different, like I don't mind going a guy like Gabe Davis or something like that. I know that Simon and I were talking before the show a little bit, but Gabe Davis can have a ton of upside. And we saw it, 3 catches, 165 yards, and like 2 touchdowns against the Steelers in one half. Like potential's there. I'm keeping it simple though. I'm sticking at the top with Allen or Diggs for the most part across these builds, but not trying to make it too complicated, Mangone.
Sounds like Rubio Dimes on. We're not going to get to it yet, but someone in the chat suggested a 5-1. We'll have to see if he's onslaught in the Bills, but that's a question for later on. That's too early to have that conversation. Let's go over to Megan next. Megan, how are you tackling this slate? Maybe it's Captain Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it's one of these running backs on the Packers or one of these receivers in the mid-tier to kind of give you a nice little balanced build. Could be a kicker. Who knows? How are you approaching this game, Megan?
Well, like Rubio said, of course, the obvious captain is Josh Allen, and I definitely am going to have plenty of Josh Allen captain. I also, from the Bills, of course, like Davis and Diggs. But I think you do need to kind of build different builds. With the Bills, they're tough. It could be really concentrated. It could be really spread out. And then with the Packers, I really am going under the mindset that Aaron Rodgers is really in this game only going to trust Aaron Jones and Robert Tonyan as his weapons. That's kind of what I'm working with. So I might be contrarian and take a couple shots with those two at captain. I know that's kind of weird, but that's a showdown. So it's the 3 Bills for me and those 2 Packers that I'm interested in to get different.
All right. Yep. Should be interesting. Kurt, how are you getting different tonight here? Or maybe it's at the captain. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it's just taking Josh Allen and moving on and leaving some salary on the table. Who is the captains that you are looking at here on this slate? Kurt?
I knew it. I'm good. I knew it. So first of all, I love this slate. I think there's many different ways you can go. There's a lot of cheap options as far as the Green Bay pass catchers are up in the air. I like taking different shots on them. We'll get into that later. But you got to take advantage of this Green Bay rushing defense. It's very, very bad. Everyone's going to be like, jam Diggs, jam Allen. Yes, I agree. And we have the salary relief to do that later on. But, I mean, this rushing defense is really bad to where I never do this, but I probably will have some Singletary captain because he's been getting the big workload lately, and they're at home. They're big favorites, and Green Bay can't stop the run for shit. So I will be doing that for like the first time this year, I feel like.
So if you do play Singletary captain, Kurt, I want to call this out. If you play him captain, you need this game, I think, to be a competitive game. Like you actually need Rodgers to be. Like,
well, that's perfect because I think it's going to, I bet Packers plus 10.5.
Yeah. Well, I just want to call it out because like there's a common trend. I've said it since like day one. When they're in a game that's tight and competitive, like if this was a playoff game, Singletary would play 80 to 90% of the snaps. If it's a game that they're just out in front, you're going to see others get involved. And if you do think the Bills, let's say it's a 5-1 onslaught, I would not play Singletary and I would play one of those cheaper backups. That's if you see that path. But if you're playing a Singletary captain, make sure to set rules in there. Make sure to go in and put Rodgers in there or make it a competitive game. Maybe it's like more of like a 3-3 build. Maybe you go like a Singletary captain. You got an Allen with like a Diggs, and then you got Rodgers and like maybe one of his cheap receivers. I don't know if that fits, but you get the point I'm getting at. You want the game to be competitive. You're going to play someone like Singletary in the captain spot. Rubio, what's your thoughts on Kurt's Singletary take and my take with saying that's how you have to play it?
Here's my issue with that, Kurt. I love you. Singletary has had 1 touchdown this season. Last year, he was not getting in the box either. The problem is Josh Allen is basically RB1 there. I mean, he's going to run the ball. He's going to take it himself. He wants to win the MVP as well. We got that little bit of narrative here, like we chased with the NBA. Singletary, I mean, if the Bills are going to run the ball, the game's going to be close because the Bills are best when they're throwing the ball. And I don't think that's going to change tonight. But the thing is with Singletary, he just needs to find the box multiple times to get there in the captain slot. And he only has 1 on the season. It's been a theme throughout his entire career. And it's not his fault. It's not his skill or anything like that. But it's just the way the Bills call play. It's just the way that Josh Allen plays the game too. It's just, it's just tough for him individually to find touchdowns, given his touches.
All right, Megan, let's go over to you. Let's talk about some of these flex options up top. Who are you looking at there? Like I said, Rodgers could be in play. Josh Allen, obviously, I think you want to put him in there. If you just fade Josh Allen completely, that's a great way to just be different right away. You could plug in every single chalk piece you want and kind of call it a day. That would definitely give you a unique kind of construction. What's your thoughts there on the top end flex options?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to do a couple different builds to do a couple. I know Tambo does this, a lot of times for showdowns, and we'll build out different scripts. So I'm going to kind of build out a couple different scripts. And so there will be some where I will play Aaron Rodgers. Obviously he's going to be playing from, but most likely a negative game script and such. Of course, like we said in the captains, I like the top end Bills receivers. So I'm definitely interested in, of course, Diggs and Davis. I do have I think Kurt made a good point. I do have a little interest. I don't know that I'm going to do it in the captain, but I do have a little interest in Singletary in the flex, but it all depends on the build. And so, I don't think I'm going to do it a lot, but I do see certain builds where that may work better. So those are kind of my top end guys that I'm interested in. I'm still trying to decide and then Tanya, I said, I think he's going to trust Aaron Jones and Robert Tanya. I just, there's all these, secondary, tertiary receivers for the Packers. And I just think it's going to be kind of like the San Francisco playoff game last year. He threw to two guys, and it was Aaron Jones and Davante Adams. I think this time it's going to be Aaron Jones and Tanya. Now, maybe he will trust one of these receivers, but that's kind of, again, what I'm working off of. So it's kind of the Bills receivers and those Packers for me.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be interesting to see what they do with that. And Rodgers has been talking badly about some of these receivers, and there's no Lazard. I think he's talking about my boy Romeo, and
that's what I was going to ask. Who do you think it is? Is it Dobbs or Dobbs?
It sounds like it's Dobbs, but
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched them that closely. Like they've definitely been really embarrassing, that team in general. So I've just been like, yeah, I hope this just all fails. But it has been a little hurtful to watch. We got people in the chat saying, Rubio, slow down. I'm always the one that gets made fun of for talking too fast. So yeah, Rubio, I have to call someone else out because they say that you're on like 4 times speed right now.
I mean, it is what it is. I've had 3 Red Bulls. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just talking too fast. Maybe I'm just excited by the slate, and that means I'm going to shift. I'm not going to stop talking fast because the good mojo's here. Come on, man. Kevin.
Hey, listen, listen, you're right. I should not make fun of anyone for talking really fast because, that's how I always am. But I got my nice nap in, right? I'm not hopped up on all the caffeine right now. I mean, I was on empty when I kind of hit those 4 o'clock games. It was a tough weekend in the sleep department. So Kurt, let's go on over to you. Top end flex spots. Who are you looking at? Is it Rodgers? Like, obviously you said you like him a little bit. Are you pairing Allen with your Singletary? Who are some of the top end options that you feel like you need to spend for?
Yeah, so that brings me to the next point. I think that Singletary touchdown is going to be a receiving touchdown. I think he'll get 2 tonight, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. And as far as flex, I am running it back with Rodgers. I think Rodgers does a good game. I think the Packers keep it a lot more close than what people are assuming. As far as receivers, I'm kind of running roulette with him, but I do really like Christian Watson. I know we're not down there yet, but as far as mid-tier flex goes, Gabe Davis, obviously, we know his ceiling is just absolutely nuts. I will have some Gabe Davis. I'm even going to run it back. I'm going to go back to, I know Aaron Jones likes prime time, but I will have some A.J. Dillon as well. I think this is a close game. We can get some work on the end zone, even though Jones has been getting a shit ton of those snaps, and it's not really been the 50-50 that a lot of us assumed would be coming into the season. But I mean, all these other guys are cheap. But yeah, Dawson Knox, I like the tight ends. As far as I don't really love McKenzie here. Like I said, if I think one of my receiving touchdowns are coming from Singletary, kind of leaves a lot to be desired for McKenzie. So no McKenzie for me. But that's it for this mid-tier range.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Redmond here. He says, Kurt, stop playing on Tinder and give me the winners. I mean, we have a beautiful, beautiful looking person here, Rubio Dimes. I mean, you got to stare at Rubio the whole time. He's just
I was texting Rubio actually.
There you go. So that I thought it'd be a fun thing to throw in there for you. Hang in with us, Kurt. Stop swiping right. Stop swiping left. Let's move this thing along. Let's talk about the mid-tier options. Megan, let's go over to you next. Maybe it's McKenzie, right? I mean, McKenzie is a gadget type player that could easily get the job done here. Like, he's someone that can house one for 80 yards, and he's very much involved in the offense. I think he's certainly a good play to throw on the flex spot. We talked about Dawson Knox a little bit. This is where we dive into the range where we got defenses. We got kickers too. I mean, kickers are getting pricier. Bass is at 4.6. Crosby's at 4.4. So curious to get your thoughts on some of these more mid-range players. Is it Packers? Is it Bills? And which ones?
I have a little interest more so in in Bass, the Bills kicker. I have a little interest in the Bills defense, and I definitely have interest in Dawson Knox. I think, obviously pairing him, he's a cheaper way to pair up with Allen. So those would probably be my 3 favorite in the mid range. I am nervous to play. I usually do base a lot of narrative decisions, and that whole like calling out the receivers, I thought it was Dobbs too. So I don't know, that makes me nervous to play him. Don't piss off Aaron Rodgers and he won't trust you, so I just don't think I'm going to go much there. So I think that's kind of it in the mid-range, because I already covered Tanyan, obviously. So
all right, you already covered Tanyan. Let's go over to you then, Rubio. Who are those mid-range options? Is it Tanyan? Who are some of the guys that you're looking at? Also, before we kind of dive into that, I just want to say Rubio's got the playbook up, so be sure to check that out if you want all of his takes. You can check these out way sooner. He's got all the options for you listed. He's got the fades as well, which we'll dive into a little bit later. But Rubio, take it away. Who are some of the mid-tier guys you're looking at?
So, I mean, I'm with Singletary here just because he gets a ton of the work. He's getting like 75% of the snaps or something like that. I think that's a huge thing. They love to use him in the passing game. So he's definitely going to be in my pool. So I just want to clear that up. Won't have him in the captain. We'll definitely have him in the flex. I think the big thing, too, is just this mid-range. You kind of have a little bit of a guessing game for the most part. Isaiah D5-6, I like it. I don't love it. Same with the Bills defense. If I think Aaron Rodgers is washed, I'm probably going to go with some Bills 5-1s that way as well. So I've yet to build real quick on Saber, but I mean, not really focusing too much on the mid-range. Tyler Bass, I mean, we consider the kickers mid-range now, Mangone, 4-6. Holy cow, that's a pretty penny, but it's one that, I mean, the Bills could score 4 touchdowns. He kicks 150-yarder. I mean, is 9 from kicker good enough? And it has been recently. So probably still going to have a little bit of Bass. And I got some value plays. I'll kind of save Romeo Dobbs for the value section though.
All right, we'll save Romeo Dobbs to the value. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Let's go back to Kurt. Who are some of the value plays that you're looking at? I know, well, basically 4K and below. You got our boy Tupac Shakir. We got him in there. We got Sammy Watkins. Maybe some Armani Rogers popping up. James Cook, who could be really nice in those onslaught scripts. Even Gilliam's been getting involved a little bit this season. So there's a ton of different guys that you can mix in. Maybe it's a Jake Kumaro revenge game. How about that, Kurt? Well, who do you got for some of these cheap options?
The Jake Kumaro revenge game is kind of funny, actually. But as far, I don't know. I don't like McKenzie as much because I do think Shakir and like Kumaro will be mixing in more. So like that's why would I pay so much for him when I know those guys are gonna be mixing in? Not that I really love taking shots on them, but I really want to take shots on these like cheap Green Bay guys. I feel like Watkins is the safest, but I like Christian Watson the most. Like he's the gadget guy. He gets these arounds. I think he has the biggest big playability on this team. We saw it week 1. He dropped that pass, but he's been good to me all year when he's been in the lineup. I feel like I've got his touchdown props right. So I will be highest on Christian Watson. And then all these guys are going to be taking shots on like Armani Rogers. He's the gadget guy, but I do think they want to try to give him more opportunities since, I mean, all these guys have been letting everyone down. So Armani Rogers, I might take a stab on. Tourier, another one of their young guys, 600. Take a stab on him for 20 max. But my favorite is going to be Watkins the safest, Christian Watson second. And then, I mean, AJ Dillon's down to 4,200, guys. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if he falls in the box twice tonight. Like, it could happen. So I will have a shot on him as well.
All right, let's go over to you, Megan. Who are the cheap ones you're looking at? Obviously, there's a lot to like. Zach Moss, I know he's like kind of been in and out of the offense. Is this the week that Zach Moss gets going over James Cook, or is it still James Cook? Who are some of the options you're looking at for cheap?
Yeah, I just checked. He is active, right? I was just trying to check that before we went on.
I assume. I don't think he'd be inactive.
Yeah. So I was checking that.
Yeah, he's active. I see it.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually, don't mind taking shots on like a Zach Moss, especially if you're playing like you said, a blowout script. They're not going to like be running Singletary in the fourth quarter. So I don't mind a cheap shot there, Zach Moss. I think even though I said I think he only trusts Aaron Jones and Tanyan, I'll take shots on those cheaper Packers receivers like Sammy Watkins, like Christian Watson, since he's back this week. That could be interesting. His first week back. Let's see how that goes. And then Watkins wife. I think that's it for me. Yeah. Sorry. I was looking at my list.
No, you're good. Let's go over to Rubio. Let's find out who the cheap ones he's looking at. He said he's saving Romeo Dobbs. So let's talk about Romeo now. Is he someone you want to jam in there? What's your thoughts here on this Rubio?
Well, the reason why I want to save Romeo Dobbs because of the fact that these wide receivers can be grouped together. Romeo Dobbs, Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson, and even Jake Kumaro. Kumaro, I don't know how you pronounce that last name. Either way, he's probably going to be in my main team. Like Dobbs, Watkins, and Watson. Someone's got to catch the ball. right? I don't have faith in Robert Tonyan. He's not even a good run blocker, too. He's been really lacking of late. He only had 31 snaps last game, too. Aaron Rodgers needs to throw it to someone. He's too good. They're going to be trailing. Sammy Watkins is actually my wide receiver of choice, and someone I just saw put in the chat too, something I wasn't thinking of. We got revenge narrative. That never fails to amaze. So Sammy Watkins, he actually has a little bit of rapport with Rodgers too. He did look good the first 2 games. 2,600. That is way too cheap for him. I just think like the potential production, he always runs on primetime games too. Only 3 games on his body this season. We always know he's good for an injury or 2, and he's already had 1. So, let's play him while he's healthy. I mean, that's the thing. 2.6. Dobbs has shown so much potential if you can just catch the ball. Same with Watson too. I mean, he dropped a touchdown earlier in the season that was right in the breadbasket. And some on gadget plays too, where all of a sudden you'll just have Aaron Rodgers flip it a yard ahead of him, and Watson's doing the end around. All of a sudden gets to the corner and walks in the end zone, does a Lambeau leap. Obviously, they're in Buffalo tonight, but I just like these have potential. All 3 of them have talent. And it's just about getting them the ball. And I think Aaron Rodgers is capable of that. And, that opens the door for a double QB build, which I didn't really think was too possible coming into the slate.
No, for sure. And Rubio, we got people in the chat. They're suggesting Mercedes Lewis. And I said this to you before. This is not the Mercedes Lewis game. So let's let the people know, do not play Dust Bucket Mercedes Lewis. They're not getting him involved in the game where they need to win a football game, where they're like grinding it out and they need real players on the field. Do you know when Mercedes Lewis catches that touchdown? He catches a touchdown when they're fooling around against a crappy team like they did against the Giants, right? They were fooling around. They were up a bunch. And that's when you kind of give it to Mercedes Lewis. It's against the Bears. It's against the Lions. It ain't against the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry.
Not so fast, Mangone. Not so fast. The quote, well, I don't even know who that college football guy is anyway. Lee Corso.
Lee Corso? Oh,
yeah, Lee Corso. That's my bad. That's my
bad.
bad.
The legend Lee Corso.
Yeah, I disgrace the legend. God bless him. Hope he does well. Love the mascot thing. But Mercedes Lewis last week only played 8 or 7 less snaps than Robert Tonyan. 200. Little play action. All of a sudden, Mercedes Lewis is alone on the corner of the end zone. Come on, man. Going for $200. You played worse.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's the right.
23 snaps last game. The Packers are going to be slinging the ball. Maybe he just.
I'd rather play Jake Kumaro. I think Jake Kumaro is a better player.
I do too. But Mercedes, we can't make fun of him, especially on an island game. Careful, Mangone.
I've nailed him pretty good. I don't think this is the Mercedes Lewis spot. I will say the one thing, and I want to get Kurt's take, right? Because Kurt played college football, right? We'll get the hand in the ground take on this one. As kind of being a Packers fan and watching, just football in general too. I think the way I'm seeing a lot of like the way the defense is going to be played, Bills are probably going to send their normal amount they do. I think they normally don't send like a ton blitzing, right? They have a lot of guys drop back. And that's actually kind of difficult for Rodgers, I think, to pick apart with some of these like bad players that he has. Like, I'm a little nervous about that. I think you're going to see a lot more like dump offs on the side to like running backs and like the flats, maybe some of those like tight ends. Who are some of the guys you think can benefit? Maybe it is a Mercedes Lewis, but that's kind of how I see it going. I think they're just going to give him a lot of like underneath stuff, and the job's just not going to get done through that, right? Like, they're going to move the ball a little bit, but they're not going to convert. Like, when it comes down in the red zone, you're not going to get teams biting on Aaron Rodgers and like the pump fake or like on like the play action, and then Lewis is just wide open. You're going to have him carve up that defense. And the problem is some of those guys they can't run routes and they can't catch the ball, right, Kurt? You're on mute.
That's why I think Watkins is the safest one. It's crazy to think of Watson as like the PPR guy, but I think for his role tonight, it will be getting a lot of those like short dump off passes, not too short, but kind of like those comeback routes and stuff like that. That's why I think Watkins is the safest, and that's why we play him a lot.
Yep. I actually made a team that goes, Josh Allen captain. I'll give you like a little core action, right? Josh Allen captain. And then it goes Aaron Jones and Sammy Watkins. And then the rest is Bills. So figure it out from there. That is a nice segue to what's our script, Rubio. We're going 4-2 for me over here. Are you going 5-1? Are you going 4-2? Is it 2-4, 1-5? What is the build that you are rocking with tonight, Rubio Dimes?
I think the wide receivers are too cheap to go 5-1, to be honest. Unless you're going Bills, that I get. But, man, I think you can get Watkins and Dobbs for 6.6 combined. I think there's going to be like 12 to 15 targets in between them. It's got to be 4-2 tonight. 4-2 Bills.
All right, there it is. 4-2. Me and Rubio arm in arm. Let's see what Megan's up to. Is it 4-2? Is it 5-1? What's the build for you, Megan?
Well, to be honest, like I said, I built different scripts for kind of different types of games, which is, I think sometimes we think we know what's going to happen. And then these primetime games, especially, have just been real head scratchers. So that's why I built a couple different scripts. So I definitely have different ones, but I'd say my favorite one is 4-2 Bills.
All right, Kurt, how about you? Is it a clean sweep? If so, I might have to go the other way. I might have to go like 5-1 Packers. Just kidding. I'm not going 5-1.
3-3, baby.
3-3. There it is.
3-3.
I think one thing to call out, Kurt, if you're doing 3-3, the thing I like about the thing I would say is if you think 3-3 and 4-2 Bills is popular, a lot of time what you're supposed to do in those spots is like play more of a contrarian captain there, right? Like maybe it's like Devin
Singletary.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely when I've done like more research on slates, like, you know what I mean? Like those are things that I kind of dive into and look at. So I don't know. I don't going to watch that much of this game. I just want the Packers to get murdered. I'm hoping that's how it works out. Even though I'm a Packer fan title, I'm sorry. I know we're both Packer fans, but I want this game just to be horrible. And we trade Aaron Rodgers and call it a day. And there was someone else in the chat who's agreeing with me. So I'd love to see that. Also, there's the Jake Kumarosa Wisconsin kid narrative. Yes, that is correct. And he played with the Packers for a little bit. So that was great. We got Uncle T in the chat. He's saying he would have rostered Kurt in the captain spot for $200.
Thanks, Uncle T.
Kurt, what position would you play? Like if we had to put you in a spot, right? Would you be the quarterback, the tight end? I mean, I know you played. I think you played defense.
I'd be like the tight. I'd be the tight end, even though I did block in college. Like I'd be the tight. Like right now, currently, I'd be the tight end who can't block for shit. So I'd be in the slot all day.
All right,
Greg Dulcich, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be Greg Dulcich.
Greg Dulcich without the long hair, you know what I mean? But it's still the jacked muscles, right? You know, obviously not. You haven't had a carb in like 10 years, I think.
These pit stains. Goodness gracious. It's not even hot in here.
Oh God, man, Uncle T called you the fullback. He wants you to be Alec Ingold, but hey, Alec Ingold.
It's true. That's what I
don't
think.
Talk about Alec Ingold, bro.
That was painful, right? That was absolutely painful to watch.
Hey, I told you I had a dream. Alec Ingold scored a touchdown.
I was just going to say, I thought of that today when he scored. I was like, just a week late.
Knew it was going to happen.
I did not think of Kurt dreaming in today. I was busy dreaming. I think that game was still on, so I wasn't asleep for that.
Mangone. How many likes do these people have to get JSU's core? You came up with a little unique one. How many likes do they need?
That's true. I'm down for it. Well, how many do we have watching? Like YouTube, like changed like their setup or something?
7.
How many people are watching, you said?
710.
Oh, we are way behind. You're right. And that's on me, kind of. So to be fair, I've made some mistakes here. 178 likes we got right now. It's at 184. We got 700-ish watching. I think we got to get it to 300, right? I mean, that's not even halfway. I'm being very generous there to give out the JSU core. So we're going to be generous. We're going to say, got to get it to 300. And I got it kind of on me for saying it a couple times. So I'll be generous there. So push it home. We'll give out JSU's core. And we got a bunch of cores up. Rubio, while we're here talking about that, talk about the playbook. We have how many cores we got? We got 10 cores, including a cash core for FanDuel and DraftKings. We got Megan's up here, Kurt, Glock, JSU, K Phallic, Uncle T, Hoop. We got them all. We got Big T's player pool. So if you want Big T's core, it'll be over and up on the site. And then you got notes, you got fades. Talk about that a little bit for the people and explain it to them more.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's nice having a much wider audience for NFL where we have 10 cores for each site. We hop in FanDuel, we hop in DraftKings. We kind of go in, what I do when I do the playbook is I'll highlight like my captain plays. I'll highlight the guys I prefer on DraftKings, FanDuel, see if there's a price disparity. Like the biggest thing, Watkins and Watson are 7K on FanDuel. Dobbs is 11 over there. So obviously you're going to see that right off the rip. Saves you a ton of time, especially if you do your own research and stuff, you can just go to one place, see where these pricings are at. And that's what I always love. That's what I love about, providing content and stuff like that. It's just where, everything's in one place. And it just happens to be that all sports are in one place too, and going for one price. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. That's where you can play F1. You can play NASCAR. You can play all the sports that you want, Rubio. Which I'm not in the racing streets as much as you. F1 I just can't get behind. But
right, I raged at F1 today, man. Going my driver Yuki Tsunoda, I had a great lineup going, and he got wrecked. He got fucking a 10-second time penalty from the other guy for wrecking him and stuff. I was just so pissed. I was looking hot. Still cash, but what could have been, man? Going what could have been.
Aren't those races at like Sunday at like 9 a.m. too?
Yeah, well, they're in They're in the North America and South America next week. So yeah, it's nice. 4:00 today, but usually in the morning. It's nice.
Yeah, but it's like Sunday morning while there's too much going on. I couldn't handle that. That'd be
you Coloradoans. You're lazy as fuck.
No, I was up early. This is hurtful. I was up very early. I have a timestamp of sending a message at 5:15 a.m. and then I was up back again at 6 a.m. my time. So I was up nice and early.
Come on.
The thing is, I couldn't do F1 while NFL is going on. Like that would just be painful. Like Megan, imagine I'm just imagining Rubio dying. He's watching the morning wood and he's like literally just like punching a hole through the wall that like his F1 driver. Like I just don't think I'd be able to do that. It'd be too much going on. Like I'm joining cash games. I'm building lineups. Like there's just like way too much
going on Sunday mornings. Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough.
But hey, Rubio's out here grinding for you guys. He's got it for the people. Gator says the NBA cores got him crushing tonight, so that's good to hear. Yeah, I did see it was an all Spurs night. That's when I closed the laptop. I was like, I don't need to roster whoever the guys are.
Blake Wesley, and he's already went to the locker room, so that's cool.
He got hurt. I wonder if I would have played him. He didn't start, so but
I started him. I played him anyways.
I would have probably played Zach Collins. Zach Collins, my boy.
He's been awesome for me. He's been having a good
because he produces fantasy points. He's one of those. So I played him the other day and my buddy made fun of me and I was like, that's fine. And then I cashed and I was like, see, Zach Collins got the job done. And it gave me a different construction. And then, oh, here's a great argument. Can we talk about this? I want to ask you guys. I know this is a little off topic NFL. Put some NFL questions in the chat. I'm going to ask one NBA question. We'll go back to NFL. All right. Rubio, Kurt, I know you guys play NBA more. Megan, you can chime in too. If I told you for 3K, and positions do matter, but we were talking about Dwight Powell yesterday, but let's just say it's any position. If I told you for 3K, you can have 18 DraftKings points in NBA every single day for the rest of the season, would you sign up for it? I mean, yes, some slates it won't work out. I think I would take it every time. Like
Not
I'll take
a shot in hell.
You're a donkey. All right, Megan.
I'm not
next.
a fucking donkey, man.
Big T, please
now.
hop on and support me. I know
It's
Big
the
T.
tanking season. Victor Wembanyama. How many 3K guys are going to get 30 and 40 by the end of the year, man? Your initial investment.
You
might
get
look good,
18
but look at
every
the
night.
long term.
Every night you get 18, Rubio. Every single night you get 18.
Every night
you don't
you
get
get
6.
cash.
You don't get THT last night at 3.7, getting you 1.25. You get 18 every single night. Every night you get 18.
THT last night, you're a donkey.
You don't get 23 though. You get 18 every night.
Oh, come on now, man. That is terrible thinking right there. That's the bubble. That's the in cash line of thought right there. And you get that out of your head. Get that neck tat gone too. Come on.
It's not at all. We need to get those likes up. Let's keep those moving. Then we get to the JSU core. Glock is in the chat because Glock didn't like this question either. He's one of the people I asked it to. Megan, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to perfect my NBA game, so I don't know. I see both sides here. I would say that does feel like safe, and then I like building stars and scrubs lineups. I just did it in the 4:00 lineup today. So if that allows me to build a stars and scrub and get like an extra star, then yes, I'm kind of intrigued. Sorry, Rubio. I'm probably wrong, but
we'll have to see. Lush 25. I told me to go take a shower. These things aren't coming off that quick. Okay, it's getting a little rough over here, man. So we'll see. We'll see if tonight's the real moment of truth. Kurt, let me get your take on it. And of course, especially this year. Like, I mean, we'll see. Kurt, let me get your take on it. I think Big T's on my side. I really feel confident. If Big T's on my side, I'm very happy.
Well, I mean, with how like low owned like Luka and then have been lately, it depends how high on the stud is. Like if it's going to be Luka going for 80,
it's every slate, Kurt. It's not slate dependent. You get it every slate the whole season. That's just how it works. You can't.
I'll take my 18.
I'll take my 18. Spots.
I'll take my 18. I think I can get to the top in other places.
There you go, Kurt. That's what I like to hear. He's on board with me. But yeah, the chat's fired up. It's a fun conversation point.
Send them head to heads over. I'll give you an 18-point fucking thing. You got to use 47K of the salary though. Come on now.
That's fine. Yeah, I get all the studs and I get raw points. And again, you get stuck with THT getting 1.25 some nights and you're just kicking yourself. I can't wait. Let's see what Spurs, how they do today. Apone80 is asking, can we get a lock score? Apone80. Just got to sign up at Run Pure Sports, head in that Discord chat, NFL, and then at locks. Maybe he'll post one in there for you. I mean, he posts scores on the site for sure, but if you want the lock score, I'm sure he'll definitely try and provide you something. Big Dan T thinks you guys are donkeys, so I got one big T on my side, even though he's got Dan in the middle of it. It's a big T on my side, so I'm happy to see that. Let's move this thing along to questions. I heard someone in the chat a while back. They said Bills D in the captain spot. Megan, let me get your thoughts on that. Any interest in doing that?
I mean, could it work? Sure. I don't think, not for me. I have interest in Bills D in the flex. And again, anything can happen on a showdown slate, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't take a lot of sacks. He, doesn't turn it over typically. I know this season has been worse than prior seasons, but I still, that's not a quarterback I'm targeting, even with this very, very, very good Bills defense. So no Bills defense in the captain for me.
All right. Real quick, just so you know, Kurt, you have Wesley on your team. He's not going to get 18 possibly tonight if he doesn't come back. So I just want to throw that out there.
That may or may not have had something to do with my decision just now. It may have, it was.
Would have definitely thought that. All right, so fire those NFL questions. I'm digging through now. I mean, we got people talking about Dean Wade in the chat. I don't know if that's Cape Alex Burner. Let's see what else we got here. Someone else at Singletary Captain Ships. I know Kurt is on the Singletary Captain call. If you want to check out the rest of his core, go over to Run Pure Sports and check that out. I went back to the Mercedes Lewis question. We need real questions here, guys. So fire them away. Someone brought up Amari Rodgers. Can we talk about Amari Rodgers? Because he's one of those draft picks that, like, you know, maybe he's one of those guys Aaron Rodgers is talking about. Needs to get a little bit more work. Rubio, let's go over to you. Is Amari Rodgers someone that you are considering maybe getting some exposure to tonight?
Yeah, I mean, so what, they were the Island game, like that morning game or something like that, or last week I was watching him. Amari Rodgers had a few looks and he looks good. We played him in preseason. I know Kurt and I played him a lot, actually. I think it was all 3 weeks or something like that. So I know he has a little bit of talent. He's in between that Sammy Watkins and that Dobbs range, and Watson's much deeper. So like I feel obligated to go them. And like I felt like Amari Rodgers did a lot, and all of a sudden he ends with like 4 DK. So like I really question his upside, and I feel like I have better upside than the other options, but get the play. I mean, I heard his name often last time they played, so I get it.
All right, May, what's your guy takes on Amari Rodgers? Interesting option today.
I'm personally not playing him, but I mean, again, you know, there are all these value guys for the Packers. I think you just choose, you know, depending on the amount of lineups you play, just choose the ones that you side with. I personally am not. I was going to ask you as a Packers fan, who's your favorite cheap Packers receiver? Like, who do you think he trusts?
I think it's Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just the one to trust right now. It's been brutal there. And hey, he's healthy right now, right? That's at least good. You know, you want to play him when he's healthy. So that's
for now, right? Yeah.
Let's ask. I'm gonna ask everyone this question. So everyone be ready with your answers. Megan, we'll go to you first. Knox or McKenzie? You got to only pick one. Who you got?
I'm gonna do Knox. I like Knox
All right.
tonight.
Let's go with you, Kurt. Knox or McKenzie?
Knox. It feels like that Knox 2 touchdown game's coming.
Agreed.
Of course, on the tight end slate, you know, showdown slate, where the tight ends thrive. Let's go over to you, Rubio. Who do you got for that one?
I got McKenzie. Knox been part of the best offense in football, and he's just not going to get the yardage. I think McKenzie gets the yardage, but yeah, Knox is due for 2 tutty game. That's for sure.
All right. Next question up. We got one for Megan. Are you on the kickers? What's your thoughts on using kickers today?
Yes. More so the Bills kicker. You know, I think it is more. First of all, I think he's the better kicker. Mason Crosby is getting a little up there in age. I love playing the kickers, but I do like the Bills kicker more. He's playing his home stadium. He's the favorite. So like the Bills kicker more. All
right. Bills kicker it is for Megan. Someone asked who's all of our favorite captain MVP calls. So I'm going to go first. Mine's lame. I'm going Josh Allen. It's just how it's going. That's my team that I'm playing today. And that's the call. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy. That's just what I'm doing. What about you, Rubio? What's your captain call?
Who'd you say, Mango?
What?
Who'd you say?
Oh, you didn't hear? Maybe my internet was being weird. It's plugged in. I don't know why it didn't work, but I said Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen for sure. It's a beautiful night in Buffalo too. No wind at all. It's kind of nice for Tyler Bass.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I don't mind the wind too much. I don't think it's a big deal. But Megan, what about you? What's the captain call for you?
I mean, of course, yeah, I have plenty of Josh Allen. That's the obvious call, but contrarian, I'll give a part B to the answer. Contrarian is Aaron Jones or Tanyan. That's just me getting weird and playing off that. That's who I think Rodgers is going to trust.
Yeah, no, I like the Aaron Jones one. The PPR stuff that you can get is really good.
Yeah.
Kurt, what about you? Who's your captain?
We've already said it. Romeo Dobbs, baby.
It was Devin Singletary. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I was putting Dobbs in my lineup. Just now. Sorry. Devin Singletary.
I was like, I listen, I know I took a nap.
I was thinking,
but I'm not asleep right now, right? Like I heard
telling myself, go click on Dobbs. My bad.
You said it like so confidently too. I was like, what is this man saying?
I've already said it. Devin Singletary, 2 touchdowns tonight. Sorry.
All right. Devin Singletary captain is the guy he's going with. Big DNT is asking about fading the quarterbacks. Joey Work is asking if this was a dress. Is this a neck tat I have or a Halloween costume? Joey, it's not a real neck tat. It was a costume, and Yeah, I haven't really attempted to rub it off that hard. So I think tonight's the night that I'll try and get rid of it. Let's see. So yeah, it's not real. There was another question I wanted to ask that I liked in the chat here. Where is it?
If not, Mangone, if you don't get it off by Tuesday, people are really going to start asking questions.
Yeah, I read you can use rubbing alcohol if you really want to, but I was like, it should come off quick, but we'll see. Yeah, people will ask questions if I show up on the Tuesday show and there's
right. I was thinking of that, just looking out for you. Yeah, make sure you get that up in the next day or so.
I did it on Friday, and then when I realized Friday night, I was like, what are the odds after being out till 2 a.m. on Friday night or however late I'd be out? What are the odds I wake up for a college football show and I go, let me get rid of this, right? There's no chance. 8 a.m. college football show, not a chance for sure. Let's see. Tanyan or Bills D? Let's go over to you, Kurt. Who do you got there? Tanyan or the Bills D?
I don't really love the defenses tonight because I think it's going to be a close game. I think there's going to be some points. So give me Bobby Tanyan.
All right, let's see. Locke says Kurt is way too into his phone to be on the Up to Lock show. LOL. So Kurt, are you over there playing games? Are you swiping right on Tinder? What's going on over there?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, don't worry about it. He says.
I'm very attentive. Fuck you, Locks. Shit.
Man, look at that. Yeah, Kurt is a guy that he'll go at anyone. I mean, he'll rock the jean shorts and he'll just come at you. The jean shorts
season, baby. I'm from the holler.
Got for Kurt, Jones, Bass, or Gabe Davis. So if you had to pick Jones, Bass, or Gabe Davis, that's a very wide range of outcomes.
Jones, Bass, or Gabe and Davis.
What?
Is that the question?
It says Jones, Bass, or Gabe Davis. I don't know. I think
that's 2 for $1, 2 for $1. What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. That's a tough one. We'll have to see.
I guess I'd rather take 2 players than 1. Yes. Give me 2 guys over 1 guy.
By the way, Zigguris with the comment of the night. I'm very attentive. I'm going Dobbs for captain. That's a good one right there.
Yeah, that's true. That was my bad. Man, Locks is probably right. My bad, Locks. You're right. Oh.
Scott Foster, the ref, he's in the chat. He says, Kurt shit with me tonight. So it sounds like you guys are on the same path. But listen, if you guys want JSU's core, you got to get the likes up. We need 43 more likes. So get those in there. People are speculating what Kurt's doing on his phone. I want some more speculation. Joe Ruff says that Kurt's
I'll tell the Discord after the show's over. I'll tell the Discord exactly what I was doing.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Sounds like people are saying it's your Candy Crush play of the day. That means you're playing Candy Crush.
God no, Jesus Christ.
The real Jetnian is asking Josh Allen or Sammy Watkins, for the follow-up question of Kurt's, the funny bass question we had in the chat. So that's pretty good.
Oh.
Let's see. Allen and 3 pass catchers. We haven't talked too much about that. Let's go to you, Megan. If you play Allen and the captain, what's the pass catchers you're pairing it up? How are you kind of shaking that out?
Well, I'm kind of mixing it up, but it's because sometimes it can be really concentrated. We've seen it be 3 touchdowns just to Diggs or just to Davis. So I'm doing some with just 1 or 2 and kind of 1 expensive one and 1 cheaper one. But there are some where I am pairing them with 3 guys, and those are the kind of like we talked about more of the 5-1 builds, obviously.
Yeah. So do you know where I think mine is a little different? I have a Josh Allen captain. Maybe it's not different. I don't know. I kind of hand built it and I thought it was good, and I was like, cool. Well, let's go with it. Josh Allen and the captain, only one of his receivers though. That's it.
No, I think that's unique. I did that on FanDuel.
I think most people when they build their teams, they're like, oh, if I put the QB in the captain, I need to put in a second, or a tight end, or I need to put in basically 2 guys that catch the passes. I don't think you need to, because Josh Allen runs the ball in, right? And if he's in the captain, it could just be, hey, they got the ball at the 1 yard line and then he just QB sneaks it. And easily could be one of those setups. So gave that a shot. We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out. Some people in the chat talking about Watson. Malcolm is asking if we're fading Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to you, Rubio. How do you handle Aaron Rodgers here on this one?
It's tough because I feel like if you play 2 wide receivers, it doesn't take that much to get there. And if they're trailing the whole game, let's say Diggs and Allen combine for all the touchdowns. Let's say Singletary gets one too. Aaron Rodgers might not need that much to get there. 15 or would be enough. And same goes with Aaron Jones. We have a ton of value to work with too. I like Aaron Rodgers tonight. I didn't really expect to say that coming in, and it gets me Allen, it gets me Diggs, and I'm able to play everyone that I want. I'm happy and I'm gluttonous. I even got Allen at captain. I'm able to do it. So I like Rodgers tonight. I like playing double QBs when I can, especially when it doesn't feel forced. And it doesn't feel forced tonight, Mangone, because the Packers don't have a wide receiver 1 that I can go to.
Well, bad news is it is forced because you're playing Mercedes Lewis, who's going to get you a 0.
I am playing Jake Camaro.
Okay, yeah, if you're going Jake Kumar, that's a little better. But I wonder what Big T would say about it. Well, I'd be curious. We got a question, Bass or Gabe Davis. So I think that is the question that's not involving Aaron Jones. So I'm going with Gabe Davis. We'll just move on from that. Gabe Davis for sure. Go him over Bass. Crosby or the Bills D? Kurt, who do you got for that one?
I like Rodgers tonight. So give me, I mean, if you want a 5-1s build, then yeah, just go to the Bills D. But give me Cross balls.
All right, we got Big T's cores up and the player pool. So if you guys are interested, he's got it up. So check it out over there. He's got some slate fades. I'll give you one fade he put in there. We haven't even talked about this guy. I'm assuming not a lot of us are playing him. He's got AJ Dillon as a fade today. Rubio, is he a fade for you? What's your kind of take on AJ Dillon tonight?
I'm with Kurt when he said it earlier. Like the snaps are way down. I think he only got 16 snaps last, but he can be involved in the pass game. He can be involved in the goal line carries. I don't hate it. It's 4-2 cheaper than the kickers. So definitely not fading him at all. I honestly get it here, especially at 4-2.
Right here, I got a 3v3 for you. I just cooked one up. I looked at my team that I have and I said, let me just see if I want to like do a change, right? 3v3 is Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones, and Sammy Watkins versus Aaron Rodgers, Gabe Davis, and Big Bob Tonyan. Megan, well, what do you like for that one? It's a lot of different players.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
It's Diggs, Aaron Jones, and Sammy Watkins, or Gabe Davis, Aaron Rodgers, and Big Bob Tonyan.
I'm going to go number 1 because you got both Diggs and Jones.
All right. Okay, cool. That's the one I had before. I don't know. I was building around. I don't have Aaron Rodgers there. Let me see what happens if I put him in. Just kind of see if other combos come up there. Rubio, do you have the same take on that? Again, those are guys that people are looking at. So what's your thoughts on some of that one? You're on mute.
No, I almost pitched a perfect game. Yeah, same exact thing, though. Same exact thing.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought someone would like it more. Opponent is asking for the JSU core. We're at 268 likes. That's not enough to get the job done. And we got a minute left. So I don't think we can do that. It's on the playbook. So check it out over there at Run Pure Sports. West Coast Jim says, good luck, y'all. Get that paper. Let's get that money tonight. Should be a fun night. Let's get the closing thoughts. Kurt, we'll go to you first. Final thoughts here.
I kind of hate Robert Tonyan. Like I've been waiting all year for look, we got no receivers. Tonyan should have like a 9-target game. He's not had like a game over like 5 targets. I don't know why. It makes sense for him to be more involved, but he just hasn't this year. So for that, I just hate him. Like it's going to all of a sudden happen week 8. I doubt it. So there's one of my closing thoughts is Robert Tonyan. Fuck him.
All right, Megan, final thoughts.
Well, on the other side of Kurt, even though I usually agree with Kurt, but
I'm trying to give you luck, Meg. I'm trying to reverse jinx for you.
There you go. Thank you. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I've already said it multiple times that I'm going with a lot of Tonyan and Aaron Jones when I play Packers. And of course, there are times when, of course, I go down in price. But yeah, I really don't know how I see this game going. So that's why I'm building a lot of different builds. I think Bills win, but I just don't know how I see the pace or the final score. So I'm building a lot of different builds, and we'll see if one sticks.
That's fine. It's okay sometimes to embrace you don't know what's going to happen, but embrace what other people think they know is going to happen and take advantage of that. So that's not bad at all.
Right.
Rubio, final thoughts, and then I'll close this out.
Let's ship. I think we're going to ship. I will say the JSU or Big T thing was James Cook tonight, and I get it. What the Bills are off a bye, right? They like playing rookie running backs off a bye week. It's something that we learned last year with DeAndre Swift, especially coming into that second half of the season. They're doing the same thing with James Cook. Now, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about that too much, but that could be the shipper tonight.
Likes, another thing is like as soon as the game gets out of hand, they're feeding Cook like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he's
like
good,
they're just force feeding him. So in those 5-1 builds, I just think it makes way too much sense to have Cook in the 5-1s.
Hey, I went with Captain Josh Allen. I went with Diggs, Aaron Jones, Tyler Bass, Sammy Watkins, and James Cook. So I got my James Cook in there. I think you're playing either scenario, so I like it too. But that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Showdown Show. Be sure to check out all the content at Run Pure Sports. We got NFL Showdown tomorrow with tons of shows. We got NBA. We got it all. So if you have not signed up, go check out the site now. Sign up. But that's going to wrap it up for us. For me, Mangone, Rubio Dimes, and Megan. Kurt, we'll see you guys later.